Welcome, Stampers. This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I was having one of those days where I had to reboot the computer and all that fun stuff. But I am here. I apologize for being late. But I do have a fun card for you today. I was trying to find something we hadn't done in a while, and this is something we haven't done in about 2 years. And it's a herringbone technique that we're going to do using the Season of Elegance Designer Series paper. I happen to have a lot of scraps left over, and we're always looking for ideas to do with scraps, and I thought this would be a fun one. So let's get down onto my desk and we'll get started. Sorry about that, Gian. I had one of those days where I had to reboot the computer and all that fun stuff. It wasn't connecting properly, but I am here. I'm just a little bit late. So this is the bundle we're going to be using is Peaceful Season, and it has the dies and the stamp set. There we go. And then let's turn this off. Oh, Kat Mahone is our winner from Thursday's video. You get entered into the drawing if you like and share the video. So you can spread my video out to your friends. Let's hide that distracting little thing at the top. So I'm going to be using the dies in here, and I'm going to show you a fun new trick with those. But let's start out with the herringbone technique. So what I'm going to need for that is just a standard piece of our cardstock. And so I'm going to use Very Vanilla. And then, like I said, I had a bunch of scraps left over. And they were like 3/4, ½ inch, 1.25 inches. I made them uniform. So these are all 3/4 of an inch. But I just have a bunch in the various colors. This is the Season of Elegance Designer Series paper that is gorgeous. It came out of our mini catalog. There is an entire suite built around it that includes the bundle we're using and another one. So it's a mega suite, meaning there's 2 bundles involved. And then I'm going to be using some liquid glue, but you could use seal, you could use the adhesive sheet, although you probably wouldn't want to have the gap if you were using adhesive sheet. So what I want to do is set this down on my grid paper because I basically want to find the center of this. So I don't know if you can see, probably not. At the top of the grid paper, you can see there's the 0 in the middle. And what I wanted to do was put this on my grid paper with that 0 in the middle so that I can lay these pieces down. And the idea is that I want the point down here to be pretty much in the middle. So we're going to start with just kind of playing around and then keeping an eye that this is going to go straight down the middle. Just put a ruler here so you can see if I continue this all the way down, that point will continue in the middle. So I don't want to move these. I kind of want to have them right there, and then I'm going to put a little bit of gap. You can leave out the gap and butt them up to each other very close, but I thought it would look fun to have the gap in the middle. So I'm just going to put some adhesive down and then lay my piece there. Then I'm going to do this one. I kind of want to be careful that I'm not going to give it too much because I don't want to glue it to my grid paper. That's kind of what I want. Okay, so we're going to start off with that, and then we're going to end up putting a little piece in there to cover that up. So now that I have my point and I know it's in the center, now as long as I leave everything, I would say perpendicular to it, then it will continue in our pattern. So want to figure out how we want this to go. So I want it to alternate and do a cool and a warm and a cool and a warm. So we're going to start with a cool, which would be your green. And we're going to do a warm, which is going to be the vanilla. And then we're going to do another one. So that's warm. So then we're going to do cool. That one. To think about this a minute. Probably should have started with the same colors over there, then I wouldn't be so confused. I could just follow my own pattern. But each time that I'm putting this one down, I'm extending it so that my point continues to be on my line. And then I'm going to do green, vanilla, pretty peacock, and then red. And then we're going to start over again. So then I would want green, and then vanilla. And then over here, I'm going to do kind of the same thing. I'm going to go red, peacock, vanilla, and then green. Oh, that's going to make them together. That may not work. So let's see if I bump this. I didn't want the same color to bump together in the middle. So we may have wanted to lay this out and do our color matches before gluing the first two. Red, green, red, green. Warm, cool, warm, cool. Green, red again. Okay. So this one we have green. Sorry, every time I got to reboot, my brain seems a little stressed and I can't think as clearly. So if I'm not chatting, it's because I'm trying to think this through. So I've got the pattern where I've got red, peacock, vanilla, green, red, and then I'm going to do peacock down here. And so then I've got kind of the same thing over here. I have green, red, peacock, vanilla, green, and then red. So we're keeping with the pattern. Okay. So now, as I said, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put some adhesive down. I think I'm going to go on the cardstock because I know where that's going to run off. So I don't glue to my desk. So how's everybody doing today? I know it's a Monday. It's definitely been a Monday over here. I saw the cardiologist this morning. Everything seems to be okay. They've got me on some new meds and coming back, I guess, in 6 months. So that was good that they didn't want to see me in 2 weeks. I've got 6 months, so that must mean they didn't find anything too terrible, right? Who's cooking this year? My husband wants me to make a turkey, but it's just going to be the two of us. So he's going to have leftovers for quite some time. I always cook my turkey in one of those bags from Reynolds. Seems to make it cook faster and stay juicy, which has been a good thing. Okay, you'll notice with the liquid glue, I'm able to kind of wiggle around and move this so that not only my gap is even, but that I'm butted up here, making that straight. After we come back from our break of Thanksgiving, the next week we get to hear about what it will be retiring out of our September to December mini catalog. It's that time already where we are getting ready to order our catalogs to be delivered. So if you are not one of my customers currently, but you wish to be, please let me know ASAP so I can get you included on my catalog list, because those are about to be shipped. And it will start out Celebration in January, along with the January through April mini catalog. And as demonstrators, we're already able to order out of that. So if you're in that boat, if you don't want to wait, you want to see all of that beautiful spring stuff and earn some free celebration items early, you can become part of my team and get in on that. We've already been able to place our order. So over the Christmas break, I'll be able to start working on some samples to show you. So I think as we work into December, I've got to slow down on Christmas cards, maybe do some stocking stuffers, but hopefully most of us have got our cards close to done and we'll be getting them in mail soon. I started saying December 3rd is when they will put the last chance list online, and they are going to combine the last chance list and the clearance rack so that we can put stuff on the last chance list and leave it there until they're all gone, which gives Stampin' Up! Kind of a longer period of time to get rid of stuff, or unload all of their inventory, and a little bit longer for us to shop. Of course, it's always going to be a while supplies last, so if there's something you really, really want, I would suggest grabbing it early. But just know that we're not going to have clearance rack updates per se anymore. We're just going to be adding new product to that every other month as product retires and new catalogs come out and all that fun stuff. So now that I have laid everything down and glued it, now what I want to do is cut these excess strips off, and I'm butting my scissors up to the edge of the cardstock and snipping it off right at the edge. So now you can see there is a little bit here and just a teensy tiny bit in the corners up there. And so what I would do is take, see, this is going to be vanilla right after that. So I'm going to take one little dab, not much, but just a teensy bit of glue there. After this one is going to be Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to grab just a little piece of Pretty Peacock. The side of the gold. So just a little piece. This one's vanilla. Probably vanilla up here too, huh? And you can choose to do this in a pattern, to do it kind of willy-nilly on the colors. It's up to you. Do whatever you feel is going to be pleasing to your eye. But it's a great way to use up strips of cardstock or designer series paper. Once you get the first two pieces down, Carol, the rest of it's not really that stressful because once the first one's down, then the rest of them kind of all fall in pattern. Laura hasn't started her Christmas card yet. Better get on that. Hopefully you at least ordered your stamps and cardstock and everything you need to get them going. I wanted to cook just a turkey breast. My husband wasn't having it. He likes the dark meat. Oh, Kat says she sprained her ankle. I'm sorry to hear that. That's no fun. Get you out of cooking, but not fun. Melanie has 10 coming over for dinner. Carol says she only has to make one thing. Helene says, my husband and I do not cook. So what do? Do you go to family or are you going out for the day? And Laura said she got her prize patrol cards in the mail. Good. Like I said, I just needed to get to the post office because they were weighing heavy. Okay, so I think I looked. I don't see any questions on it so far. People are thinking it looks a little complicated, but no. Like I said, the first two pieces, maybe, but the rest of them easy after that because you're just laying them perpendicular. And then I'm just snipping off the excess. It's a lot like the starburst pattern. We've done that one a couple times. Only with the starburst, you're working with large triangles. This time we're working with rectangles. But same kind of idea that we're creating a pattern and letting them run off the edge and then trimming off the excess. So I have a cherry cobbler card base all ready to go over here. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, my very vanilla here. The base, of course, is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. So that's going to go on there. And then I have a 4 by 5 1/4 to go on the inside. And then when I was cutting all of these 3/4 inch strips, it left me with a few 1/2 inch strips that although I couldn't use them on the front, I can use them on the inside. So for our inside sentiment, we'll probably want to stamp first. Make sure that I can get my sentiment straight because we always want to stamp before adhering in case you're not happy with how the stamp comes out. Then you can flip it over and do it on the other side. Of course, I use the grid paper to line my stamps up straight and then line the block up straight to that, cleaning them off right away so that they don't stain. And then, as I said, then we're going to put this one on here. And then it would be up to you. I centered mine overall in the card, but some people will choose to center it between this strip and the edge. You know, move this over so it's more centered overall between here instead of here. But that's a personal preference. I also have a tendency to like to have it hang over both sides so that I can trim both, and then I know I'm at least fully covering it. I'd rather be too short or too long than too short. So this one will go on the inside. Let's put a new one in this. Started. And then we need to do our die cut for the front. And that's where I was going to show you a fun new trick. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. But I was cutting the sentiment, and First off, what I did is I used the decorative trees dies. And I cut a tree. I only used one on the other, but my word didn't pop overly well. So maybe you'd want to use 2 or 3. It'll give you a little more extension to put underneath that. I had done this in Pretty Peacock, thinking that would pop. Maybe we'd want to do it in green or vanilla. Maybe even gold. But that would be with the outline die. So I'm going to bring in our Peaceful Seasons dies. And I have the outline of Christmas, and then I have the word itself. So one will go inside the other. You can do this in 2 different colors of cardstock. What I decided to do was cut the word Christmas out of our designer series paper because I just loved the sparkle that's in there. It gives it a little extra something. And so I'm going to cut my detail die out of this one. And then I'm going to cut both the green and the vanilla, and we'll see which one we like better. So I'm going to pull in my die cutting machine. There's the word Christmas. I'm going to be very careful to save the little dot up there from our eye, because that's going to go onto the outline. Then for the background, I thought we would bring in some packing tape. I'm going to put packing tape down the middle of this. And that's going to give it a shiny surface. So then we can cut out our outline with that shiny behind it, and it's going to give it a little extra pop. I'm going to lay the die on top of the packing tape. And then see, it kind of looks like it's been heat embossed. And it's got that shine to it. So what do you think? Have you guys tried this before? So I'm going to choose one of those, and we're going to put our Christmas on top of it. Use the take your pick tool to pop it out. I think I'm going to like that. Because the green is pretty with the red, but I think with the green trees behind it, it's going to get a little more lost. So I think we're going with the vanilla. And then I want to put teeny tiny dots on the back of this because I forgot to use adhesive sheet. So I'm going to use my glue press from My Sweet Petunia. This is on my recommended products list on my website. But it's great for people with arthritis because you just kind of squeeze the trigger and glue comes out. But it also allows you to do the teeniest, tiniest of dots by just giving it a little bit of pressure. I can get much smaller little dots out of this than I can just using the liquid green glue. And actually, when I ran out of the glue that came in the glue press, I just refilled it with the Tombow glue. So it is still Tombow glue. I'm just able to squeeze it a little easier with my arthritis and get smaller little dots. And then we may want to use the Take Your Pick tool or the reverse tweezers to pick this up and flip it over. Now I gotta remember, here's that little dot. So I want a little tiny dot up here for my dot for my eye. I'm going to take the Take Your Pick tool. I've picked up the little dot. Okay. Let's see some dimensionals. The trees could be pretty with the packing tape too. You would just need to make sure that your packing tape was wide enough that the entire tree, would fit onto it. So you'd have to kind of carefully place that or worry about having a seam at the edge. Maybe one of the things you could do is cut it down into a shorter tree, like we do to go with the dies that go with this set, and then that would fit perfectly onto there. Because it was just the last section, made it a little too wide for that particular roll of tape. Okay, now I've done this one flat and this one high, and then I want to have my word Christmas go across the front. Now the tricky part is this has already been raised and this part has not. So what I want to do is put dimensionals under from the T to the S, and then I'm going to put regular adhesive under this part here. Does that make sense? So this will keep it flush with this tree, and then this will raise up this side so they're the same height. And I did use full dimensionals with the other one, so they do fit under there. But so I don't have to be finicky on camera, I'm going to go ahead and put these mini dimensionals on there because they'll still work. Let's see. And there we go. There is our herringbone pattern with the Christmas tree and the word Christmas. And yeah, I definitely think the vanilla makes it pop a little better. And I do like the shiny behind that. You can't tell much about the shiny back here in on the camera, but it does sparkle quite a bit in person. So just maybe something, if you were going to do the same color, that you could do the bottom in one color and then cut out the top with the packing tape. So then you'd have kind of a tone on tone, but one would be shiny and one wouldn't. That could be an option too. But thank you for everyone. Thank you to everyone for joining me today. To get into the drawing, you want to like and share, and then let me know that you've done that. And let's see, let's bring back in our winner from last time. It was Kat Mahone. So let me find her. Oh, come on. Little tickler there. She's going to want to go to my website, queenbeecreations.net. And then in the address bar at the end of the .net, add / and then Prize Patrol. And that will take you to a Google form where you will fill that out and claim your prize. So thank you to everyone for joining me. I appreciate you being here. As a reminder, I will not be live on Thursday because it is Thanksgiving. I hope everybody has a wonderful time. And if you get a little time to carve out to make a few cards, that's great. If you just choose to spend the day with family, that's great too. So I will see you back here next Monday for another YouTube and Facebook Live. Thanks so much. Bye.